Which is only it takes 3,500 calories to burn up. So I'm walking 4 miles.
It's a fun book. It's written by somebody who plays Rubber Bridge instead of, Rubber Bridge for money instead of duplicate bridge. But it's a good book. I enjoy it. I'll read it every other year. So. Matter of fact, I was down in Nags Head last summer. My wife wanted to go thrift shopping. Okay. So she'd do her thing, and I'd look at the book, and there was one of the shops had a few books, and one of the books was okay. Bring that up and give it to the library. It really is a good book. Actually, one of our
Only in bridge.
But there's he was going to be bad.
Table there was one empty in the table there.
Greetings! Thrilled to see everybody here today. Hope you all have fun plans for tomorrow. Glad you could join us tonight. Got some housekeeping stuff to go over, but before we do that, I have a joke for you. I have a friend of mine who was driving down the road in a new Mercedes and wanted to see how fast it could go. So, got up to 80. So, okay, this doesn't even feel like I'm driving. So he got up to 100. All of a sudden, he saw blue lights behind him. So he's 100 and said, okay, I'm in a new Mercedes. I can outrun this guy. So he did it up to 120, and, blue lights are still following him. Okay, I got up to 140. Blue lights still behind him. So, okay, this is not, someone's going to get killed. So he pulled over. So the officer walked up to him with a very stern look on his face. Says,
Dad, you can't hear
so the officer walked up to his car with a very stern look on his face and said, look, it's been a long day. If you can give me an excuse that I have never heard before, I will let you out of the ticket. And my friend looked up and said, sir, I gotta tell you, my wife left me for a police officer 3 weeks ago. I was afraid you were trying to bring her back.
Best one yet.
All right. Housekeeping stuff. This Saturday, we are going to start our Saturday workshops. I anticipate that we're going to do one this coming Saturday, then off a Saturday, then the following Saturday. will be June 18th. So June the 4th, this Saturday from 9:30 until noon or so, we are going to discuss Chapter 2 in the book. It's going to be opening bids and first responses. Should have a class smaller than this. It's a good avenue for you to ask questions. If you have anybody who hasn't been coming on Sunday night that you think would enjoy some bidding refresher, it's a good place for them to come as well. It is $5. I'll provide warm Krispy Kreme donuts. Love to have you come out. Pretty sure we're going to be off on June 11th, but June the 18th, we'll do Chapter 3, which is rebids by opener responder, probably the most important chapter in the book. I'd love to have you all come out for those. Questions on housekeeping stuff? All right, well, last week we talked about week twos. Okay, week twos. If I open 2 diamonds or 2 hearts or 2 spades, that is a weak, my partner and I have agreed that that is a weak bid. I have between 5 and 10 points. I have a reasonably good suit, especially if I'm in first or second seat. That is what my partner and I have agreed on. If you are playing week twos, it is vitally important that your partner is also playing week twos. Otherwise, silly things will start occurring. Okay? That's really all I was going to talk about on week twos. Any questions on what we talked about last week? Yes, ma'am.
What was that skip you said?
Well, what I will do, in theory, if I pass, or if I open at the 1 level, the person on my left has probably figured out what he's going to do if I've opened with a normal opening bid. But if I open with a preempt, I will always request that the person on my left wait for 10 seconds before bidding. And the way that I will do that is, personally, I will announce, I'm going to make a skip bid. Please wait. Take the stop card, set it on the table. Pull out my 2 bid, set it on the table. Count 10 seconds, pull the stop card away, and then the person on my left is free to bid. If you don't do this, then the world will remain on its axis, but it's a pretty good idea to do it. Yes?
Can you ask if this is a skip?
Well, you can tell that it's a skip.
If they don't put the card down?
If the thing that designates it as a skip bid is if I can bid 1 spade and I bid 2 spades, then I've jumped. Okay, so you don't ask if it's a skip bid. It's something that would really be to your benefit to be aware of if they're opening at the 2 level instead of the 1 level. Good question.
Is there a minimum number of cards you have to have in a suit for a preemptive bid?
Yes. I always, every single time, have 6 until I don't. 6 is the number seriously, 6 is the number you're looking for. If you're going to preempt at the 2 level, you got 6. Okay? If you're going to preempt at the 3 level, you tend to have 7. You could have 6 if you're opening 3 clubs, and we'll talk about why in a moment. Open at the 4 level, as a preempt, you tend to have 8. Good question. Other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Would you ever, even if you have 8, not bid that high, just to keep the bidding down for your partner?
Sure. And again, that's a great question. Your question was, if you have 8, do you always have to open at the 4 level? And the answer is no. If I have a opening hand with a 7-card suit, I open at the 1 level. That's code to my partner that says, partner, I have a hand that's above average in its ability to take tricks. Now, if I have 8 of them, I'm going to bid them again and again and again. but I'm going to start at the 1 level, which tells my partner, in addition to having a string of these, and you'll know that I've got a string of diamonds because I'm going to bid them 3 times, I also have an above average hand and its ability to take tricks. That's why I'm going to open it at the 1 level. Great question. That's a very important part of preempts. If you have an opening hand, you open it at the 1 level. Other questions? All right. Well, the reason that we can bid 2 diamonds and 2 hearts and 2 spades as weak bids is because we have one forcing bid that we use. One bid that says, partner, I don't care what you have, I want to hear you bid. The reason that we need a forcing bid is because it's possible that my hand is so big that I could open at the 1 level and you could pass with a 4 count, and your 4 count plus what I have in my hand is enough for us to fulfill a game contract. Does that make some sense? Now, if most people have agreed that the big bid, the forcing bid, the bid that thou shalt not pass, is 2 clubs. Okay, 2 clubs says, partner, I have a big hand, I want to hear you bid. Now, before we talk about what you bid, we're going to talk about what a big hand looks like. Okay. If I open 2 no trump, how big is my hand?
50 to 18 points.
2 no? 2 no trump.
19 to 21.
20 or 21 is a pretty standard thing. With one of my regular partners, we play 19 to 21, but we enjoy doing odd things on occasion. But 20 or 21 is what we're looking for. So what do you do when you pick up a 23 count? You can't. The great thing about opening no trump is I've defined my points within a very narrow range, and then my partner gets to do math. Okay. So if I have a 23 count, I need a bid to tell my partner, I'm balanced with a 23 count. And you can't do that by opening 2 no trump, because 2 no trump is 20 or 21. Okay, you're off by a couple of points. Okay, so the first time you're going to open, the first type of hand you're going to have to open 2 clubs is a balanced hand with 22 or more points. Okay, does that make some sense? Yes, ma'am.
Why does it have to be balanced?
It doesn't. That's the first type of hand you can have, a balanced hand with 22 or more points. Okay. Now, the other type of hand you can have, from her question, is an unbalanced hand. So I've got this fine hand. Cards, that seems unfair.
Count the 24.
Oh, y'all count points? Well, how many points what do I have? It's a 20 count? What can I make? I don't know. It looks like I should be able to take 5 spades. Assume they're 3-2 and one of my opponents has a queen. I've got 2 heart tricks, a diamond trick, and a diamond and a half, or 1.5 diamond tricks. This is a... Can you imagine that I could open this hand 1 spade and my partner would pass and we could make 4 spades? What would my partner need?
Nothing.
3 spades, queen of hearts. 3 spades and the queen of hearts, as long as spades behave. I'll take my 10 tricks. Okay, it might take 11 if the diamond finesse works. You never know. Okay, so this is a hand that is borderline opening 2 clubs. I'm going to make it a little bit better. Okay, or num. Okay, now I literally need just about nothing from my partner to make game on this hand. Okay. If my partner has the jack of spades, I can get to the board and take a diamond finesse and have a reasonable shot at taking 10 tricks. Okay. So how do I open this fine hand? Well, you know, and that's fine if you want to open it 4 spades, but personally, when I open a hand 4 spades, I've got something that looks like this. That's what my 4 spades looks like. Do I expect to make 4 spades? Not really, but if I'm not playing spades, then my hand is basically worthless. So 4 spades for me is a preempt. Okay, it's not I have a massive hand. Okay, I've got 8 spades and I want to get in the opponent's way. Okay, so if I open this hand 4 spades and open this hand 4 spades, my partner isn't going to know whether I'm coming or going. So I'm going to reserve my 4 spade openers as a preempt. And if I have a hand that actually feels like you can make 4 spades, I'm going to open it 2 clubs. Now the basic requirement for an unbalanced hand is a hand with at least 8.5 tricks and at least 2 defensive tricks outside of my long suit. I was playing with a woman that actually drove up to Northern Virginia to play in a pretty serious event with a woman, and she picked up this hand. And she was a very studied person. She knew stuff. So she'd had a lesson similar to this, and you know, if you have 8.5 tricks, then you have a 2 club opener. How many tricks does she have here? That's a 9 card spade suit, by the way. She's got 9 tricks. Okay, so she opened this hand 2 clubs, and I had like a 14 count. So my partner opened 2 clubs, I got a 14 count. I'm trying to figure out whether we should stay out of a 7 level bid. And she kept bidding spades, and then silly things started happening. Okay, so 2 club opener, 2 types of hands, balanced with more than 22 points, or unbalanced with at least 8.5 tricks, and I've got a couple of defensive tricks on the outside.
What's the defensive trick on that?
It's these tricks. The hearts and diamonds, as opposed to having a 9 card spade suit. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry if this is too much of a tangent, but let's say she opened that 4 spades and you had your 14 points. What would you have said?
Depends on whether my 14 points were aces or kings and queens. I think they were mostly kings and queens. The reason I say this is because we got to the 5 level and someone figured out the joke and doubled us and we went down. Oops. Yes, ma'am.
If she was a good player, why would she have opened that 2 clubs with only 9 points?
Because she knew she heard half of a lesson. Okay? Everybody, I said, 2 parts of this. 8.5 tricks in an unbalanced hand, and you have the ability to take a couple of defensive tricks outside of your suit. Okay, now again, she's got 9 tricks. If she'd had a 10th spade, she would have 10 tricks, she would have game in hand.
What should she have said?
Oh, she could have bid 4 spades. I would have bid 4 spades, might have bid 5 and came back around. Yes, ma'am.
Wouldn't it have been better to have bid, instead of going 4 spades, go maybe 2 spades, and then keep going up so that if your partner did have like 14 or something other points, and it would, you could communicate between the two of you?
I'm glad you asked that question, because her question was, wouldn't it be better to open 2 spades and then keep bidding? Okay? If I preempt, I have bid the hand as high as I can, as quick as I can. I don't get to take another bid. I'm not invited to take another bid. I have put my partner in charge. Partner, I have 6 spades and 5 to 10 points. Figure out where we belong. Do something intelligent. If you need to ask me questions, you can ask me questions. But don't think I'm going to go out of my way to bid again unless under duress. Because I've described my hand. Just like when I opened 1 no trump. I've gotten the hand off my chest. Questions? Alright, so I've got these 2 types of big hands. Let's talk about responses very quickly. Now, if I have a massive hand, what do I want you to do?
Bid.
Bid, but basically get out of my way. Okay, I've taken up 2 levels of bidding to tell you I have a big hand, and I haven't actually told you what my big hand is yet. Okay, so in standard 2 clubs, you will respond 2 diamonds every single time, unless you have something very specific to tell your partner. Okay, when I open 2 clubs, if the next person passes, I want to hear you bid 2 diamonds unless you have something very specific to tell your partner. The definition of something very specific has 3 things. Okay? 5-card suit with 2 of the top 3 honors and at least 8 high card points. Okay, so you open 2 clubs, unless I have a 5-card suit with 2 of the top 3 honors and at least 8 high card points, my response is 2 diamonds. I don't have anything special to tell you. I can have an 11 count and not have anything specific to tell you. But if I have a 5-card suit with 2 of the top 3 honors and 8 high card points, all of a sudden my partner could get excited because they have a good hand. Okay, so they can almost start counting tricks. So they got 2 of the top 3 honors. I'm looking at the king and the jack, so we've got 5 tricks in that suit. And then they just start doing math. Okay? Now this is pretty uncommon. Okay? Usually, you're going to have a 2 diamond bid. Okay? Got a quiz for you. You got this hand. All right, your partner opens 2 diamonds and you have 12 count. Life is good. Are you thinking happy thoughts? You should be, because your partner has either a big balanced hand or a unbalanced hand with a real source of tricks, and either one of those gets you excited. Okay? So your partner opens 2 clubs. What's your response with this hand? 2 diamonds. Partner, I'm getting out of your way. I want to hear what your big hand looks like. Now, most of the time, your partner's big hand is going to be balanced. That's just the way it is. Okay. So after the auction goes 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, your partner will tell you what his big hand looks like. If he bids 2-no, 22, 24 points, and balanced. Three no equals 25 to 27 points. Now, what's the 500-pound gorilla eat for breakfast? Whatever he wants, thank you. If you happen to pick up a balanced 28 or 29 count, do you know how you should open it? Any way you want. Because you will never see one. Okay? And I've been saying this for years, and I'd said this for years, and sure enough, I did this lesson on Sunday night. The next day, I picked up a balanced 28 count. What do I do? And I know what to do. The actual bid is 4 no's, 28 or 29. All right. So this is your balanced. How many high card points you got? Because again, if you're balanced, you want to describe your hand to your partner within a couple of points. Now, there's two important things about any bridge hand. First is, do we have enough points for game? Or do we have enough points for slam? How many points for slam, give or take? With balanced hands, 33. Grand slam? 37. Okay. So if I can tell you how many points I got within two-point range, the chance of us getting the right spot go up by a lot. Now, what's the second thing we're looking for? 8-card major suit fit. So, I'm just sitting here minding my own business with this hand. 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, 2 no. How many high card points does my partner have?
12.
When he bids 2 no? He's got 22 to 24. Do we belong in a slam?
Yes.
Well, he's got 22. I've got 12. Yeah, we belong in a slam. It's very possible 6 no's the right spot to be. However, do I have a way of asking my partner if he has a 4-card major? Okay. So 3 clubs is stamen. Now, does it make sense to play transfers over 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, 2 no?
Yes.
Absolutely. Because we're trying to find an 8-card major suit fit. And stamen and Jacoby are tools that we have in our tool belt to do that. When I open 2 clubs and rebid 2 no trump, I bid 2.5 no trump. Partner, I got 2.5 no trump. If I had enough to be in 3, I would have bid 3. So I got 2.5 no trump. Still want to find an 8-card major suit fit if you have one. So 3 clubs is stamen, 3 diamonds, and 3 hearts are still transfers. Okay. Now, one last thing. And when I say one last thing, what I really mean is one last thing.
What do you mean, Ed?
2 last things. He didn't really mean it. All right, the auction's gone 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, 2 no. How many points does your partner have? 22 to 24. So between the 2 of you, how many points do you have? 22 to 24. Do you have a good bid to describe this hand? Pass. Okay? When your partner bids 2 no trump, you are not forced to bid again. However, if your partner changes suits, you absolutely, positively owe him another bid. If your partner changes suits, you absolutely, positively owe him another bid because he could have game in hand. Right now, all I know, he has a big unbalanced hand with spades. He could have that 8.5 trick hand all the way up to he's got a full-throated 10 tricks in his hand, needing nothing from me. Okay, so I owe him another bid. In standard, the code. You should always have a code. Okay. The code for partner, I have a rotten hand. A hand with no redeeming value whatsoever is bidding the cheapest minor. So here, if I bid 3 clubs, that's code to my partner saying, partner, I have a hand that may be worthless to you. Do something intelligent. Questions, comments? Yes, ma'am.
So, to begin with, I could respond to the 2 clubs with the 2 diamonds with only 2 points.
I've got to respond. My partner said bid. You know what I do when my partner says bid? I bid. Because his 2 clubs, he doesn't promise a club in his hand.
Right.
Some big hand bid something so I can describe my big hand. Okay.
So he doesn't know anything based on my 2 diamonds, except that I don't have anything significant.
I do not have a 5-card suit with 2 of the top 3 honors and at least 8 high card points. So yeah, he doesn't really know anything about my hand. I could have a 0 count, I could have a 10 count. Yes, sir.
Definition of worthless hand.
No ace, no king. Some people play no ace, no king, not more than 1 queen. Yes, ma'am.
So how does the bidding end? At 3 clubs?
It ends with whatever my partner bids. Because now that I told him my hand is done, actually in standard, if my partner changes suits, I still owe him another bid. So let's say he bids 3 hearts. In standard, I still owe him another bid. God, how much do I hate bidding with a 0 count? Okay, but if he bids 3 spades, what's he telling me? No, he's not saying he doesn't need my help. He's saying, boy, I wish I'd opened this thing at the 1 level and could have played 1 spade instead of 3. All right, but he doesn't want to be in game. All right, it is time to play bridge. Oh, and by the way, Saturday mornings, you may appreciate that there are some parts of 2 club openers or week 2s that we just didn't get to on a Sunday night. So I tend to go a little further in depth Saturday morning when we talk about stuff like this. And I return to your regularly scheduled bridge game. Over to Paul.